we only had one day to shoot this, and this might have been, fortunately, one of the smoothest on-set experiences I've ever had. So
Yeah, and a lot of the crew said that. And so, I'm always a big proponent for just doing a lot of pre-production, maybe more than is needed, but I don't see that. I want to make sure that I have every base covered so that Murphy's Law doesn't come and rear its ugly head. And then once we get to the set, then we can be creative and we, have the time to get things done. So knowing that we had just one day, we had the two actors, and knowing that they were on a very busy schedule, that we couldn't really run over. So I made sure that pre-production, we covered every possible contingency of, what if this happens, what if this happens, and let's make sure that the shots we're going for, we know they're going to work. Instead, I'm all for creativity, and we, some things changed on that day, but you don't want to just fly by the seat of your pants. If you have a limited budget, you have limited time, and your actors have to be somewhere the next day. So we storyboarded it.
yeah, so here are some practices that you can do to make sure that you're at least thinking about pre-production. These are legitimate practices that you can do on every film.
Right.
So.
Besides all the stuff about pre-production as far as like casting and all, I'm thinking about the planning. So for me as a director and writer, doing storyboards, and they can be just stick figures. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I did set diagrams so I could look at it overhead and find out where I wanted to place the camera, which then later helped me to determine the shot list. Because you want to limit the number of camera setups because that just takes time. We did even a little animatic type pre-visualization, and then you'll never see this footage. I don't think. Don't leak this out, but we did the acting and set the camera up in our kitchen, and did all the shots the best we could in our environment. And then edited it all that together to see if these shots I had in mind would actually look good together. And what we found were some of them just were a little jarring, going from this angle to this angle, or a close up to this medium shot. In the proof of concept, the actress breaks a plate, and we had to think about that. How are we going to have her break the plate? We had breakaway plates, so she could break several. But I was concerned about her safety. I didn't want like a shard of plate to hit her in the face. So we had to think about that and how we could get the camera angle, and all that helped out. So we had that figured out before we got on the set. We still tweaked a lot once we got on the set, but it was helpful to have already pre-shot it and pre-edited it.
Right.
Can't always do that, but we were lucky to do that.
Mm-hmm.